More practice day 2. So we're going to be naming geometric figures from a diagram. So we're going to be using this figure right here to name each of the following. So we want a line containing point A. So here's point A, and that is currently on line L. So we could call this line L with the cursive shape, cursive L, or we could use any 2 points on the line. So we could say AB, AC, BC, BD, AD. It doesn't matter which ones, as long as you use 2 letters on the line. And then don't forget our notation is the line with the arrows on the top. So those are some acceptable answers. We could also say BC, DA, like it doesn't matter which 2 letters, okay? Next we want to name a plane containing point C. So here is our point C. That is on plane N. So plane N, using that script letter, or we could use our notation, so a little plane N, or we could say plane and then any 3 non-collinear points. So here's 3 non-collinear points, A, B, E. Okay, non-collinear, that's points that are not on the same, collinear points, those are points on the same line. So here's a line. That means all of these points are collinear. So A, B, C, and D are collinear. Non-collinear points, so that is any of those points with point E. E is not on the line, so we know we're going to have E in there. And then just pick any 3 other points. So we could say B, C, D, because these points are not on the same line. Next, we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be naming geometric figures from a diagram. So now we have this diagram right here, a bunch of lines. So in this, we want to name 4 collinear points. So if we look at our lines, this line right here is the only line that has 4 points on it. So H, N, K, and I. And just a reminder, R is not a point. P and Q are not points. Those are names of the line. Now we want a segment that contains point N. So here is N. We want a segment containing that. So we could say segment MO. We could say HK, HI, but we only need one segment. So we could say MO is our segment. Segment, we need just a line notation, sorry. One line with no arrows. Next, we want a line that contains points H and K. So here's H, here's K. There's only one line that contains both of them, and that is line R. So we could say line R, or you could do the easy way, call it line HK. You remember you only need 2 points to name a line. Another name for line Q. So here's line Q. So another name for that, we would just use any of these 3 points. So we could say line JK. Or you could say KJ, KL, JL. That's just a couple. We don't need to list all of those, okay? The intersection of lines P and R. Oops. So line P, line R. Remember, the intersection of 2 lines is a point. So that would be point N. And then a pair of opposite rays on line R. So opposite rays are any 2 rays that have the same endpoint. So we could just use these rays right here. So we could say N, H, and then N, K. N, H, and NK. We could have also called this ray NI, because that would be the same ray, it would be going the same direction. Okay, turn the page. So we're going to be naming geometric figures from the diagram. So we have a new diagram. We want to name 3 coplanar points. So we just want 3 points on the same plane. Well, if we look, here is the one plane. We could use any of these 3 points. So we could say VWX, you could say VYX, you could say VWY. Doesn't matter which points, just any 3. And then name a plane containing point X. So here's X. We could go the easy way, call it plane R. Or we could say, plane XWV, or we could even say this plane right here, plane ZXW, or we could say this plane right here, ZXY. So we don't always have to name all of these. I'm just showing you multiple examples. Name the intersection of plane ZVW and plane ZXW. So ZVW, that's this front plane, and then ZXW is this other side. So remember, 2 planes, they always intersect at a line. So this is line ZW. So even though it doesn't specifically have the arrows on it, we know that planes always will intersect at an arrow, at a line. So we can put our arrows on our answer. How many planes appear in the figure? So in our figure we have 1 plane, which is the bottom, and then our sides of our pyramid. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 planes. How many planes contain point W? So here's W. So we have 1, 2, and 3, that bottom plane. And what is another a way to name plane R? So remember, plane R is this bottom one. So we just need any 3 of the points that are on that plane. So we could call this plane VYX, just picking any 3 points. Okay, so now we're on to sketching some geometric figures. So we want to sketch and describe the intersection of 2 lines. So first, draw 2 lines. So here's one line. Here's the other line. And then where they intersect, that would be our point. So let's call this point A. We can call this line R and this line Q. So point A is the intersection. Sketch and describe the intersection of 2 planes. So we have 1 plane right here, and then another plane, and then we could call this plane A, plane B. Well, where they intersect we could call that line K. So line K is the intersection of plane A and plane B. Sketch the following. So a plane P contains line AB and line DE. Line AB intersects line DE at point C. A third line GH intersects the plane at point F. So first I'm going to draw a plane. So get a big plane here. And on this plane we have two lines. So here's one line. Here's two lines. So we have line, this is plane P, and line AB, and line DE, intersecting at point C. And then a third line intersects at point F. So here's my next line. I'm going to show a dashed line to show that it's coming out of, it's going through the plane, okay? So we have G, F, and down here we call H, somewhere down here. So GH is going through the plane at and intersecting at point F. And then we need to name a pair of opposite rays. Well, let's just look at this picture right here. So a pair of opposite rays would be sharing the same endpoints. We have one ray right here going this way and one ray going this way. So we could say FG and FH. Okay, summary. I want you guys to fill this in. So look over the learning goals from the beginning. What do you feel you know at this point in your learning? So you can pause the video, go look back at page 2 at your learning goals. What do you think you know? Also, what are you unsure of at this point of your learning? What questions do you have? So take a minute before you close the video or close your notes and fill these 2 questions in.